This is the new Toolbox MAX diesel heater by Hcalory, and I'm really excited to share this with you. From my understanding, it is crazy impressive with some new features, including a new wireless remote with built-in thermostatic controls and a carbon monoxide detector. I think this is really cool. So we'll get to this here in the video. Hcalory has been a team that's shown a lot of dedication in the space, listening to us, the viewers, and you guys, continuously improving on these heaters. So I just want to say thank you guys. All your comments and feedback has ultimately helped us build this heater. So let's take this heater up to a camp spot that I know of. I will unbox it, we'll set it up, and I'll show you guys what's inside the box. We'll start it for the first time, so let's get to it. So far it looks like the box is pretty well taped up. That's kind of cool. First impressions of the diesel heater. We've got the Toolbox sticker on there. We got this really nice fuel sight right here that gives you a size of 7.5 liters of fuel capacity. We've got the Hcalory logo with the mountains in the background. We've got our exhaust here on the side, and it's well insulated. This is the manual. Hcalory is known for their pretty decent manuals here. Go ahead and open this up. So first off, I see the ducting. We've got the exhaust here. Power cable extensions for the LCD control. That's pretty cool. Whereas a lot of the other models did not come with that. And then we have our 12 volt power connection here to land directly to a battery. And this should be the power supply. Yes, 120 volt power supply to 12 volt DC. And we've got some good length here. Before I get fuel in it, I need to finish setting it up. So I'm going to flip this on its side and we'll install the feet. This feet with a washer, and you just set the screw in and thread them in the bottom. Alright, so I've got the feet all attached to the base of the unit. We'll go ahead and get our exhaust on here. Okay, that's pretty snug. Lastly, I'll put this clamp on just to hold the tube up. I really like this feature here where they have a conversion chart from Fahrenheit to Celsius. That's pretty nice. This is your extended cable, so you can reach the control panel up to the heated space. So I really like how they give you some extra length there for that. We'll go ahead and just check out the length. So yeah, if you're one of those who likes the controller inside the heated space, you got plenty of extension cable that comes with the unit, where on the previous models they didn't have that, which is really nice feature. And then this is your remote control with an LCD display. We'll go ahead and pull that out. So I got to charge that up, and we'll come back to that later in the video. All right, so I'm going to fill up the tank. I've got about a gallon of diesel. I know that it's in a gasoline tank, but I have it marked for diesel only. And we'll go ahead and prime the oiling system. Show you guys how to do that. All right, so we've got no leaks, no spills of diesel. Put the screen back in, put the cap back on. Double check that it doesn't leak. And no leaks, so I can confirm the cap does not leak, and that's all the way upside down. No leaks. All right, so I'm going to connect power source to the heater, and with the heater off, we'll go ahead and prime the fueling system. I'm going to press these two keys up and down simultaneously for about a few seconds, and the fuel pump should kick on. And I hear it is on, and it just turned off. So you're going to have to hold these keys for the amount of time you want it to prime. Now, we can't get in here to see how long, so I would say maybe like 10 or 15 seconds. All right, so I think we're ready to fire up the heater. Here's the power button. We'll hold that for a couple seconds. And I hear the fans kick on just now. I can feel the fan at the output. We'll go to this other side and I'll show you guys the fan on this side of the heat exchanger. So it's moving. You just want to make sure your screen stays on, nothing gets inside of it. You should be pulling a lot of amps at this point to heat up that glow plug and start burning the diesel. So I'm actually starting to get some smells from the exhaust here. There it is. Smells a little bit rich. All right, so I'm gonna turn this up to maximum, which is level 10 on the display here. And yeah, I'm really starting to hear this thing ramp up and start putting out some heat. Oh yeah, starting to feel heat now. So in just a couple minutes after firing this thing up, it's putting out quite a bit of heat. All right. Yeah, it took almost no time or effort to get to full level mode. Now for the AC, it said 330 watts and it just dropped to about 38 watts at full speed. So I'm assuming that the 38 watts is just a fan and some of the small electrical accessories inside the heater. Now, typically once the heater has ramped up to full speed, I'll introduce the hot air with an extended duct up to my rooftop tent, and then I'll get that tent real nice and cozy and then throttle it way down to maintain that temperature. So I'm gonna go ahead and just lower the temperatures to the lowest setting. And then we should hear this heater throttle way down, and we'll notice if we can hear that fuel pump. Now, if you're new to these heaters, the temperature sensor is built inside of this controller. So you would want the controller inside your heated space for this to automatically throttle down and control your heated space based on the temperatures you set. Now, since I just have this heater outdoors as a test, I'm just gonna leave it on level mode and then adjust the temperatures as we go. All right, so the lowest setting here, our AC output is only about 12 watts at the lowest setting. So that is good. It sounds relatively quiet and I don't hear a fuel pump. So I'm just gonna go with it that they updated the fuel pump to the more quieter pump. They're out there, and that's a huge improvement to Hcalory's diesel heaters, as the last couple of models had a bit of a noisy pump. This one sounds really quiet, and I'm really happy with the overall setup and operation of this heater. I really like how the remote automatically connects to the heater, also giving me feedback saying that it's off, which is really nice. It's gonna go through a shutdown cycle. You just wanna make sure you don't unplug any power as it's shutting down. It needs power to shut down, and we'll go ahead and see how much power this thing is going to consume with the glow plug. So right now we're just at about 112 watts on the AC power supply here. And what it's doing now for the shutdown is it's going to turn on the glow plug to burn off any unburnt fuels, just kind of clean the chambers out. So that way, when we go to restart this, we don't have any problems at restart. The fan should kick into a higher gear and kind of help reject any heat off the exchanger. And then we should get some feedback saying it is okay to unplug the unit and put it away. Now, I'll still use this rigid piece of flex tube as it's rated for high heat, much more heat than your typical flex duct like these. This one actually can be used for a little bit higher heat than this one, as this one's all aluminum compared to this one, which is sheathed in PVC. I really like the black look. It's good, but it's not as safe as your all aluminum or the flex tube, and it's hard to find these in good length. So what I ended up doing is just adapting the rigid tube on the end of the 3.5-inch output, and then to connect the flex tube to the rigid tube, cut the back side of the flange here to somewhat make a union. And you can see that piece of plastic tube gives the clamp something really rigid to clamp over, real nice and secure. And yeah, That's how I've adapted the flex duct. Now I've got my heater plugged into my trailer. I've already modified the supplied power cables to fit an Anderson pole connector. I really like this setup. Anderson pole I feel is the way to go if you're gonna do like any kind of battery connections. I've got the big 1500 watt hour battery in here, and that should be plenty enough for my setup when I go camping with my trailer. Now, some things that I feel are important to mention in this video about this controller is how easily to switch from C to F. I get that question often, and to do that, all you have to do is press the power and the up keys for a few seconds and it'll switch from C to F. You can see that on the remote control. And then on the remote, it's even easier. You just press that center key and it switches from C to F very quickly. Now another thing to note is there are still two modes of control just like the previous heaters. The first mode is level mode, and this is where you can change the level of heat in bars on the display using the up and down keys, and depending on the setting you set, the heater will maintain that level of heat. I really like this mode because it's really simple to use. However, the best mode I think now is the thermostatic control mode. You can have this heater now set up like you would in your home. So depending on the room temperature you set, the heater tries to automatically adjust the output and maintain that setting that you set. And it can even be programmed to shut down and restart up just like an HVAC system. An additional layer on top of that, it has altitude mode. I leave this setting on all the time. It's just an indicator that shows on the remote or the LCD screen of the wireless remote. And this will help the heater become more efficient in any elevation you want to move this heater to. Using the phone app is a great way of control as well. You can sync that phone to the heater and get real time into the heater. This would then allow you to set up different timers and automatically turn it on and off the heater while using both the level and the thermostatic control mode. So really cool functions there. Highly recommend familiarizing yourself with the machine manual to see what settings best pair up with you and your needs and the scenario you plan on using this heater. Using some of these features and combined with the thermostatic controller, especially those who have like a well insulated room or shop that they're trying to heat, as you can get more efficiency out of this heater. Definitely play around with these different options and see what setup is best for you. Now, as far as an overview of the multifunction remote, we will be testing the built-in thermostat and the carbon monoxide sensor. Now, when I first pulled this thing out of the box, I had to charge it with a 5-volt USB-C charger. There is a built-in battery in this unit, and I have noticed it actually lasts quite some time. Now, on the back here, we have the speaker for the carbon monoxide detector. It has a beep audible, so we'll go ahead and discover that here in a minute. But as far as turning on the unit, there is this power button. We'll just slide it up, and then you can see there's a nice backlight in the LCD. On the upper left-hand corner of the display, we have the carbon monoxide detector icon and the altitude icon. On the right, we have the carbon monoxide value in ppm. Icon room with the letter R is for the remote's sensing temperature, and the ambient for the remote is 89. If you hold this button, the icon room will start flashing and give you a new value for the controller's sensing temperature. So at the controller, we have 99F, and if I hold it again, we have 89 for the remote. So wherever this remote is, R is the remote's sensing temperature. Now, if I push the button quickly, it'll give me some data. That's the voltage at the controller, and that's sometimes good to know as well. Now, since I've been holding the remote, the temperature has already gone up. So if you are going to have this in your heated space remote from the heater, just go ahead and tie up a lanyard on the corner here and just hang it up somewhere. That's what I'll probably be doing with my tent. Now, to turn on the heater, we'll go ahead and long press the power button, and you can see that it's in level mode. I just heard the heater kick on, and then we'll go ahead and switch that mode to room. Go ahead and set to temperature, and then we could increase the set point So right now it's 88 degrees. So we've got a room temperature of 89 and the set point is 91. So I'm going to let the heater get up to operating temperatures, and then I'll put this in front of the output and we'll watch this number increase up to 91, and then the heater should throttle down. Alright, so you can see that the heater is at full operating temperature as the bars on the display. We'll go ahead and add some heat to the sensor and see if this will start to throttle down. Just going to hold it there in front of for a few seconds. Give it a little bit more heat. There we go. Slowly increasing. Alright, so we're at 92 and the unit should start to throttle down. You should be able to see that in bars here. You can just see that it dropped one bar there and the heat is still increasing. So as the heat is increasing, the bars are dropping, throttling down the heater. Yeah, so our room is now at 100 degrees and you can see those bars have dropped, throttling the heater way down. So that seems to be working properly. Alright, so I've got the diesel heater running at its lowest setting. You can see it's on its lowest bar there. And the ambients are at 89. Now we're going to test the carbon monoxide detector. I've got the old Jeep fired up and it should be a pretty good test, because it definitely makes carbon monoxide. So let's see if it will work here. And yeah, if you can hear that, it's got an E11 fault and it's detecting 200C ppm. And you can hear that audible. So we should be shutting down the heater at this moment with this kind of fault. I'm going to go ahead and check the main controller. Now it looks like the glow plug is on and the bars went away. And yes, it is showing that it is turning off. So that's another safety feature built into the diesel heater, is if you have any kind of vehicle or carbon monoxide from the heater, it will automatically shut down and alarm off that you've got a problem either with your car, vehicle being on, or the heater is producing some harmful toxic gases. So I really like that feature and it works. Now to reset this feature, you're going to have to let the heater just shut down, do its thing, and unplug it from a power source, and that should reset the alarm and you're good to go. Now another function I did test was this automatic restart stop mode. To turn that on, all you do is at power startup, just press the power button again and you can see it turns it on or off for automatic start and stopping of the heater based on the temperature you set. So I just tested that and that is working as well. Now another feature that Hcalory is actively working on is making these heaters somewhat water resistant. Now as the enclosure shows, it's pretty well sealed up with all the screws. It's going to be harder to get in here to maintain it or modify it, which that is kind of the point here, is that it should be ready to go out of the box, turnkey, no modification. They've sent me a video of some tests they did. They just kind of sprayed it with a sprayer for about 10 minutes and the heater was still working. So that's as far as they've gotten. I don't see why you couldn't just clamp a duct onto the inlet, maybe circulate the air if you're outside or in the rain, to kind of make that portion of this waterproof. The AC adapter is not going to be waterproof, but if you use the 12-volt plug, it's somewhat waterproof. So there it is. That's the new Hcalory diesel heater for winter 2025, and I was just knocking the dust off the previous heaters, and this one now is definitely going to be my go-to heater. I absolutely love the multi-function remote and how it automatically connects to the heater. The carbon monoxide detector adds an additional layer of safety, which is awesome. And from my understanding, all of these features are patent designed by Hcalory, so there shouldn't be any heaters like this on the market today. So with that said, if you're interested in this heater, it's going to be up for pre-order, then coming out on sale on Amazon shortly after I post this video. So you're gonna wanna take advantage of the discounts for being a viewer of this channel and purchasing it through the links in the description box below. I'll also list everything else that I think you guys might need to keep you and your families warm on this winter's adventures. So if you like this kind of content, definitely hit the like button and subscribe if you're new to this channel. And we'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace out.